All right, guys, last video for the week. So you guys will have a bunch of time to get these done. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with functions and relations. Again, this is probably some review. Some of you may not remember it. But function is something that looks like f of x. That's how we say that. And so what is f of x? It's the output. F of x is the solution to the function when x is substituted into f. So it's the solution once we substitute x in. Some people call it y. You know, it's the y also. So the y and the f of x are the same number, but the function of x, meaning function means it does something. So what we're saying is, what does x do when we plug it into the equation? So if we look at this, this gives us example 4, page 64. I'll move out of the way. You can pause it right now so you can copy. Now, if we're looking at this, they give us f of x, and then they tell us to find f of 6, and then to find f of 2y. So based on f of x is the solution to the function when x is substituted, they want us to find f of x of 2x squared minus 8. So what does that mean? That means, what is the answer to this when I put x in there? So f of 6 equals 2x squared minus 8. Therefore, f of 6 equals 6 squared minus 8. So I just took the 6 and put it in for all the x's. So if I look at this, I get f of 6 is 2 times 36 minus 8. F of 6 is equal to 72 minus 8. So f of 6 is equal to 72 minus 8, 64. So what does this really tell me about this function or this graph? This is actually a coordinate pair. So what this is x, this is y. This is f of 6. So if I plug in 6, I get out 64. So on a graph, this is my x, the output is my y. That's what we call them input-outputs. X is the input, the answer to f of x is the output y. So the solution that we get all the time is my output. So when you're done with all of these, that's why they're called a function or a relation, you're going to get an x and a y. But all we're doing really is we're substituting our x's in to get out a value. The new piece that you guys need to remember is that you end up with a coordinate pair. It doesn't matter what it looks like, it's still a coordinate pair. So if we look at this, this one's a little funky, so I'm going to do it in a little different colors here. F of 2y equals 2x squared minus 8. And people are like, well, that's not a number. It is a number, but remember, in algebra, this is like a placeholder. We don't know what number goes there, so it's just going to travel along until we're told what number it is. So let's look at this again. And I'll do red pen, black pen here. I'll put them in each hand like that. Let's see if I can do this right. Okay, and then that equals 2 times 2y squared minus 8. So now look, I took the 2y and I plugged it in where x was. So this whole thing gets squared. So the 2y gets squared. So let's clean this thing up. So my f of 2y is equal to, let's see, this is 2 times 4y squared minus 8. If you're not sure, 2 squared is 4, y squared is y squared. Don't forget to square the 2 right there. All right, let's clean this all up. So I get f of 2y equals This would be 8y squared minus 8. Okay, so now, you're like, well, I don't have an x and a y. Yes, you do have an x and a y. It just looks a little different. So my x is the original thing I plugged in or I substituted in. It's what I put in for f of x. So I get a coordinate pair of 2y, comma, and then I get 8y squared minus 8. So this is my input, x. This is my output, y. Okay? So the relationship between 2y and 2x squared minus 8 is the fact that when I plug in 2y, my output is 8y squared minus 8. You may have seen it written this way. You may see it written that way, where my x is my first coordinate and f of x is my second part of the coordinate. So x comma f of x. And so over here, this is my x comma f of x. And really, what is that? That is the y value. What is that? That's the y value. But sometimes it gets confusing when you have the same variable inside. So that would be x and f of x. All right, so this assignment is all about inserting or substituting a value in for x in the f of x format, spitting out a coordinate pair. Same thing here. You're just finding solutions all the way across the board. Remember, it's a relationship, it's a function, it's a graph. All this stuff gets input, output, and that's kind of where we're headed in the next unit. So good luck. We'll talk to you soon.